Hey everybody, DM Jim here, and welcome to another episode of Game Terrain Engineering. I'm still on my sci-fi terrain kick, so in this episode I want to show you how I made this. It is a multi-level structure, and I'm going to put an image up right now that I saw online. This is what I was going for. As you can see, the bottom two levels are rectangular, and then the top levels sort of angle in. And I created this with chipboard and foam and some bits and pieces and granny grading. The 3D printed piece at the top you could totally ignore. I just had it laying around. I thought it would look cool up top. So anyway, let's get to the video and I'll show you how I made this. I need to paint this, but I wanted to show you something. I just had the urge again today to make some sci-fi terrain, but I didn't want to spend a lot of time. I found an image that I've already shared with you, and this is the final result. This took me less than an hour and a half. Now, it's not painted yet, but it's done out of chipboard, all chipboard. There's a little bit of foam in there, 1/4 inch foam to separate the layers. A bunch of chipboard panels glued here and there for depth. And then these pieces are from what's called a VEX, V-E-X robotics kit. I had a lot of leftover pieces from a kit I had years ago. And I mean, these are all connectors for connecting beams and robot pieces. And to me, they just add something to the structure. They're also consistent. So I used them on my last piece of sci-fi terrain, the dark matter collider, and I'm going to use them on future pieces. And I think these will sort of pull it together as being in the same, world or the same technology. But I'm going to go get this thing painted, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so I have this large science fiction structure here. It's made out of chipboard, glued it all together, added some bits and bobs for detail work, and primed it gray. Now I want this one to sort of match the color scheme and style of this one. If you want to know how I made this, that video right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask this off with some painter's tape and give it some black spray paint and see if I can come up with something that has this black and gray style to it. We'll see. Here you go, a new science fiction terrain piece. This one's got multiple levels. I've given it a paint job black and gray. I did the angle to match the other one. Granny grading glued in different locations along with all these bits and bobs. Put a radar dish on top. This was a 3D printed object. I had it sitting around. I thought it would make a good addition. But totally ready to go, except for the glue drying up here. I want to show you on the bottom, totally hollow on the inside. I may put a piece of foam in there just to strengthen the bottom, but it's actually pretty sturdy. And as you can see, it's pretty tall. There's a door right here on the front. I don't know if I recessed it right there, the same way as I did the recessed door on the previous sci-fi terrain, the one in that video right there. And I like this one. This was sort of a challenge to myself. I saw the image and I said, that looks really easy and that looks like something you could make very quickly. All of this, including the paint drying time, has taken me less than 5 hours. If you don't count the paint, it took about 2 hours to make this entire thing, cut all the stuff, glue everything. Gotta let the paint and the primer dry. This is gray primer, by the way, and this is black paint. So spray paint. So there you go. A very quick, it's pretty plain. I mean, in terms of its shape, it's just a tall structure with the top two sections here angling in slightly. I don't know if you can see that, but they do. I like this one. It's very basic, but again, it provides a nice focal point on the tabletop for a science fiction war game, and it blocks line of sight. It's big. And of course, you could play with the rules where if you go in the front doors, it takes maybe 2 or 3 rounds to get up to the access panel up top to get on top of the roof. Hope you like it. Definitely something you guys could make yourself. Again, it was just chipboard, and as you saw in the video, I just did some measurements for this and this and that and that. These two top pieces were just sort of slightly angled so that when you glue them all together, they have that slight angle. These are just square rectangular shape. Nothing hard or fancy about this. And if you take off the radar tower at the top, no 3D printed parts, foam, chipboard, granny grading, and some plastic bits and pieces. So totally doable. If you do something like this, I'd love to see it. Definitely on a sci-fi terrain kick right now. I've got some more ideas that I'm working on. So I'll give you some more if you'll just be patient. This is DM Jim, and I'll see you in the next episode.